The anime begins with the protagonist, Cry, and his childhood friends promising to become treasure hunters together, aiming to become the strongest heroes in the world. In this world, treasure hunters are the stars of the imperial capital. They travel to ruins called treasure vaults, which are scattered across the world, to obtain the treasures hidden there. In exchange for the risk of losing their lives while battling monsters known as phantoms, the story then fast-forwards to the present, where Cry is trying to join a clan because First Steps is currently hosting interviews for new party members. A clan is a group of parties, functioning like a mutual aid society. No matter how strong a hunter is, there are limits to going solo. To reach higher levels, it's important to join a good party and grow stronger with allies. While Cry waits, a girl named Ruta approaches him and greets him. She was recently promoted to a level 3 hunter. She tells Cry that everyone seems nervous, which feels unsettling, but he appears different. He looks like he is easy to talk to. Ruta explains that she wants to join another party because she struggled with a treasure shrine called White Wolves Denver. Overhearing this, a guy nearby laughs and mocks Ruta, saying she's out of her mind for attempting White Wolves Den at level 3. He calls her an amateur and warns her to leave before she gets hurt. Although level 3 is considered mid-level in the world, here, it's no better than being a beginner. Ruta, now angry, draws her blades, ready to fight. But before she can act, another hunter working there intervenes, warning them that if they escalate the situation, they'll be kicked out of the clan recruitment. Ruta quickly hides her blades, saying there's no problem. Inside, Ruta is impressed by how many hunters are there and feels slightly overwhelmed, as it's her first time in this setting. She then asks Cry how he feels. He replies that he feels normal, as this is his 5th time. Hearing this, she feels bad for asking and apologizes to Cry, but he reassures her, saying he doesn't mind. After all, being a hunter is about skill. Talented people rise to the top quickly, while others cling to any chance they can get. As Ruta looks around, she notices one party that stands out the most and asks Cry who they are. Cry tells her that the party is called the Holy Spirit's Son, Arc Brave. They are the strongest party here, consisting of 5 members who conquered a level 7 treasure vault. They're the best of the best, and the person sitting in the middle is their leader, Arkansas. Cry adds that if Arc recognizes you during this event, you're destined to be a successful hunter. As far as Cry knows, this is the first time he's seen them recruiting a new member from here. Ruta then points to another desk in the back and asks what it's for. The guy who argued with her earlier comes over again, mocking her for not knowing. He introduces himself as Greg, a level 4 hunter. He explains that the table is for the founder of the First Steps clan. It's the Grievers table. A few years ago, Grievers came to the capital as a newcomer party full of talent, and now they're one of the most famous parties. Their official name is Grieving Souls, and it's a party made up of Cry's childhood friends. Rumor has it that Grievers are recruiting new members for the first time in years, which is why so many hunters have gathered here, hoping for a chance to join the top party. Suddenly, a young man named Gilbert shouts, asking where Grievers are. He heard they were the best and came all the way here to join them. Gilbert is already a level 4 hunter and is determined to become the strongest hunter one day. As he talks, a girl named Tino approaches and tells him to leave. A nearby hunter tries to stop her, but she says it's fine, it'll be over in an instant. She's ready to knock Gilbert out and is confident that if her sister were here, she'd do the same. Tino believes she's the one worthy enough to join Grieving Souls. Excited, the other hunters encourage them to fight, even making space for them. Meanwhile, Cry tells Ruta to go outside with him, warning that if they get caught up in the fight, they might die. As they are about to leave, Tino suddenly senses Cry and starts looking around for him, ignoring her opponent who is ready to unleash a powerful skill. As soon as she spots Cry, she rushes toward him, blocking his way and asking, "What are you doing here, master?" At the same time, Gilbert misses his attack and gets his sword stuck. It turns out that Cry is Tino's master and also the clan master and leader of Grieving Souls. Everyone is shocked to learn this. Several years ago, Cry and his childhood friends left the imperial capital as newcomers and began conquering beginner treasure vaults one after another. Cry has always felt like the weakest member of the team. Once, a monster approached him from behind, but one of his friends saved him. Before he could thank them, they praised him instead, thinking he had used himself as a decoy to make it easier for them to kill the monster. Cry, however, hadn't realized this at all. Fearing that he might one day become a burden to his team, Cry decided to tell them his true feeling and was prepared to leave the group. However, instead of letting him go, the team asked him to become their leader, much to his shock. It seems like Cry is suffering from success. From that day on, Cry continued as the leader of his party. Several years passed, and although Cry always wanted to retire from being a hunter, he couldn't because of his leadership position. Later, Ark approaches Cry and asks why he's late. Cry explains that he overslept, but Ark doesn't believe him, thinking he's just joking around. Ark assumes Cry is secretly assessing the hunters by blending in with the participants. Cry tries to deny this, insisting he just overslept, but Ark doesn't listen. As Ark talks, Tino points at him, accusing him of being rude to Cry and demanding that Cry expel Ark from the clan. Tino dislikes Ark and always calls him a fake handsome guy. She doesn't even let him get close to Cry. Ark, on the other hand, finds Tino's behavior funny and often tries to pat her on the head. It turns out that Tino is a level 4 solo hunter from the clan Footprint. She is also an apprentice and protege of Liz, one of Cry's childhood friends. Ark then asks Cry if he's found any good candidates. Cry smiles and replies by asking, "If I said there was a candidate, would you take them by your side?" Ark smiles and says, "Of course, I trust your judgment, but I can only take one member." Ark's teammates get angry at Cry for suggesting the idea, as they don't want any new teammates. Tino, thinking Cry might be chosen her, telling him that she's honored, but she has already decided to stay by his side. As she talks, Gilbert interrupts her, telling Cry that he's determined to join his party no matter what. Cry, impressed by Gilbert's determination, listens as Gilbert introduces himself. Cry then looks at Ark, thinking that Gilbert would become even stronger if he were trained by Ark's party. Cry admits to himself that he has no eye for recognizing talent, so it all comes down to luck when choosing someone. He then asks everyone what they think is the most important quality for a hunter. For him, it's the ability to never give up. He explains that if you lack strength, you'll put your team in danger, so he wants everyone to show him their unbeatable determination. After all, since becoming a hunter, Cry has never lost a battle. Hearing this shocks everyone, though it's true, as Cry has never been in a proper fight before. Cry then takes off his ring and declares that whoever can claim this relic will be recommended to join Ark's team. He tosses the ring to Gilbert, but as soon as Gilbert catches it, he gets kicked in the face by Tino. Poor guy. Every hunter then begins fighting over the ring. Cry tells them that the ring is a treasure and he'll give it to whoever wins, before leaving the scene. The next day, at the clan house, a girl named Eva, the vice clan master, informs Cry that he made the front page of the news article about the recruitment incident. Luckily, no civilians were hurt. However, they still received a call from the Explorers Association. Cry asks what Ark thought about the situation. Eva tells him that Ark was laughing as he read the article. Cry, thinking Ark has a big heart. He then tells Eva to send the bill for the bar repairs to Ark and to have Ark handle the Explorers Association as well. Eva, however, believes Cry relies too much on Ark and tells him she can't do that. After all, the Explorers Association specifically requested Cry to go. Cry doesn't want to leave because his reverse face relic, which changes his appearance, is broken. The relic allows him to transform his face into anyone he chooses. Having no choice, Cry accepts his fate and agrees to go. Later, at the Explorers Association, Cry apologizes to Gark, the branch master of the Explorer Association, asking for forgiveness and explaining that the chaos wasn't intentional. The woman next to Gark tells Cry to calm down and hands him a book. Gark reminds him that, while there were no formal complaints, a clan as big as First Steps should set an example for other hunters. He won't let Cry off the hook so easily. The Explorers Association receives various requests from hunters, some of which have low rewards, short durations, or are extremely difficult. Hunters refer to these types of requests as chores. Cry doesn't want to do them and tries to negotiate with Gark to take on only one request, as handling more feels overwhelming. Gark agrees. While flipping through the book of requests, Cry manages to find the easiest one, which only requires a level 3 hunter. Cry is thrilled, unaware that this request is actually the most dangerous among them. Later, Cry looks for Ark, only to be shocked when he learns that Ark has been summoned by a nobleman and will be away for a while. Meanwhile, Tino, eager for Cry's praise, tries to show off that she was the one who claimed the ring. Cry asks Tino if she's free right now, which makes Tino really happy. Cry smiles and takes out his request from the association. Upon seeing it, Tino quickly runs away. Cry then pulls out his chain called Silver and manages to catch her. Feeling betrayed, Tino complains, asking how Cry could do such a terrible thing to her. She was planning to go out for ice cream with him, but now her plans are ruined. The quest requires rescuing 5 people, and Tino believes it's impossible for her since she's only a level 4 hunter. She appreciates that Cry gives her challenging quests for the sake of her growth, but this one seems too much. Hearing this, Cry quickly reviews the quest and asks Tino if she'll agree to do it if she doesn't have to go alone. Tino blushes, thinking Cry will go with her, only to get angry when she finds out she'll be paired with someone else. Poor girl. 6 years ago, Cry and his childhood friends visited the treasure hunters' headquarters for the first time to register as official treasure hunters. The moment they entered, his friends loudly declared themselves as the strongest hunters in the world, much to Cry's embarrassment. Cry was then asked to register his party's name and crest. Since these represent the core values of the group, Cry came up with an idea. He decided to name his party Grieving Souls, thinking it would lead others to underestimate their strength and not take his team seriously. His friends didn't like the name at all and wanted Cry to change it. However, Cry threatened to leave the party, saying he wouldn't feel motivated with any other name. Worried he might actually quit, his friends quickly forced a smile and agreed to the name. Back at the present, Gilbert, Greg, and Ruta are still in disbelief that Cry is truly the clan master of Steps, a level 8 hunter, and holds the prestigious title of 1000 Tricks Hunter. This title was given to him by the association as leader of the Grieving Souls. When hunters reach a certain level of prestige, they are awarded special titles and are almost revered like celebrities. For hunters, there's no higher honor. Cry then asks the 3 of them to help Tino with her quest. Greg and Ruta agree to help, however, Gilbert does not. He refuses to believe that Cry is the leader of the strongest party everyone talks about. He thinks Cry is a weak hunter, judging by his size, and refuses to listen to him. Cry respects his opinion and decides to take only Greg and Ruta's help. Gilbert is shocked by this and wonders how Cry can give up on him so easily. Cry tells him that it's unfortunate, but there's not much he can do. He then tells Tino that if she needs more help, she can ask someone else from the clan. Tino asks Cry one more time to come with her, but he declines. As they were about to leave, Gilbert told Cry to stop and challenged him to a one-on-one fight, saying that if he lost, he would join them. Cry agreed, but stated that he wouldn't be the one fighting, Tino would. Tino was furious with Gilbert for his rude behavior toward Cry and was ready to beat him to a pulp. Gilbert told Tino that he had been careless during their last encounter, but today he was going all out. He then looked at Cry and said that once he beat her, Cry would be next. This annoyed Cry because he didn't want to fight. Cry then reveals that Tino is also level 4, which shocks Gilbert. Tino warns Gilbert that, compared to Cry, she's garbage, but there's no way she'll lose this fight. She then drops her weapon, saying she'll hold back so she doesn't kill him. Greg and Ruta are shocked and worried about Tino, since she's a thief, a class not typically suited for one-on-one combat. Cry, however, thinks differently. While they are the same level, Tino reached hers solo and has plenty of experience fighting humans. The only thing that gives Gilbert the upper hand is his sword. Depending on its abilities, it could easily tip the scales in his favor. While he was thinking, Gilbert suddenly dropped his sword, telling Tino not to underestimate him. He didn't need a weapon to fight an unarmed girl, which made Cry wonder if Gilbert was out of his mind, a swordsman tossing aside his own sword. Tino happily told Cry that if she won, he'd have to take her for ice cream. Cry wanted to say no, but he couldn't. He didn't want to upset her. Then, the battle began. Tino moved fast, landing a kick that knocked Gilbert to the ground. He got up quickly, trying to counterattack, but Tino caught him and warned him not to talk back to Cry ever again if he doesn't want any more pain. Tino wants Gilbert to treat Cry as a god and pray to him 3 times a day. As she talks, Gilbert finally regains his strength and breaks free from Tino, only to be chopped in the neck by her. Tino quickly looks at Cry, expecting praise, while Greg and Ruta are still in disbelief that she actually won so easily. Gilbert, however, still refuses to accept defeat. he suddenly has a flashback to his youth when he first dreamed of becoming a hunter. As a child, he picked up a sword and quickly surpassed even the adults around him. He grew up, moved to the capital, and joined a party, clearing multiple treasure vaults. He was proud of how far he'd come, believing no one could beat him. As he was lost in thought, Tino approached and told him to pick up his sword. When he refused, Tino remarked on his foolish pride, warning him it would mean nothing if he died. Gilbert knows she's right. In a real fight, he would have been dead long ago. Cry then tells him he knows that Gilbert left his party because the power difference between him and the others was just too great. Gilbert is shocked, wondering how Cry could know that. Cry explains that the same thing happened in his own party, but no one was ever abandoned, which is true because his team wouldn't even allow Cry to leave. Hearing this, amazes Gilbert. The Grieving Souls is a group of elites who stand out even here in the capital. So that mean, Cry has been showing mercy to people like this all along. Cry then kicks the sword, and suddenly fire bursts from it, surrounding Cry. Cry tells Gilbert that it is a great sword and he should treat it well. Gilbert, in disbelief, because even he couldn't be able to use this sword to that extent and with such ease, and he calls Cry a monster. In this world, mana material is considered the basic substance of everything. It's everywhere, but you can't see it with your eyes. Treasure vaults form when ley lines and other forces gather mana material, creating limited alternate worlds based on memories from the core of the world. Although many places study how this works, it isn't fully understood yet. The White Wolf's Den is one of these treasure vaults. It was once home to wolf monsters called Silver Moons, but they were wiped out because of overhunting for their fur. Soon after, the treasure vault appeared, along with a blood-soaked wolf phantom. Cry thinks the White Wolf's Den is scary, but he believes Tino and her team will be fine since the quest only requires a level 3 hunter. He thanks Eva for telling him why Gilbert left his party, and she's happy to help. Then, she asks Cry about Gilbert's sword that he used earlier. Cry explains that the sword is simple to use, one he can control right away. Even Gilbert could use it a bit without knowing anything. Cry loves relics and has a habit of collecting them, so he wonders if Gilbert would sell him the sword. He thinks he could discover even more about it with some testing. Eva, annoyed, tells him to stop wasting money, as he already has many similar relics. Cry explains to her that each relic has its own personality. Even if they look alike, they all work a bit differently. Eva sighs and tells him that, even though his team makes good money, he needs to cut back a little. After all, the team's profits are split equally among all members, no matter how much each person contributes. While she's talking, Cry realizes he forgot to get his relics recharged. Later, he asks a fellow hunter to do it for him, and learns that a rogue phantom recently appeared on a road up north, destroying an entire guarded caravan. 3 level 3 guards were defeated. Witnesses say the phantom took the form of a wolf. Since the location is close to the White Wolf's Den, the phantom likely came from there. Upon hearing this, Cry begins to worry about Tino and her team. The hunters then share more bad news, saying that phantoms in the White Wolf's Den have been growing stronger, and there's talk of increasing its danger level. In fact, even a party of level 5 hunters has gone missing while going there. In a panic, Cry looks at the quest one more time, and it turns out that the quest is to rescue the missing level 5 hunters. Seeing how nervous Cry is, his fellow hunters ask what's wrong. He tells them that he just sent Tino to the White Wolf's Den. The hunters are shocked and say, "You sent Tino, a level 4, into a place where a level 5 party went missing?" Cry smiles and explains that it will be good practice for her. He reassures them not to worry because he also sent 3 independent hunters with her. This makes them even more shocked, as they say it's already a difficult mission, and now he sent her with a makeshift team. They think this must be part of the 1,000 trials, which is why Cry's party is the strongest. Cry then excuses himself and leaves, reassuring himself that everything will be fine. Gilbert is quite capable, as long as he has his sword. However, Cry remembers that he used up all the mana in the sword and wonders if Gilbert has recharged it since then. Elsewhere, Tino tells her team that this quest is very difficult, which is why she wrote a will. She doesn't plan on dying, but she wants to be prepared. Tino explains that Cry knew something was wrong at the White Wolf's Den, and that's why he sent them here. She adds that the makeup of their party isn't random, it's all part of Cry's plan. Greg and Gilbert doubt this since they just met Cry for the first time yesterday. However, Gilbert remembers that Cry knows about his past, which makes him believe Tino's words. Tino tells everyone that Cry has a lot of knowledge about the hunters in the capital and all the treasure vaults. Even though he has never met them, it is easy for him to read their actions and thoughts. The pub incident was also planned out. Everything has been carefully thought through, including their arrival here. No matter what happens, everything is going according to his plan. He would never randomly send them on a mission that is impossible. Meanwhile, Cry doesn't know what to do. He hoped that Tino and her team will come back if it gets too hard, but then he remembered that Tino is under the bad influence of his childhood friends, so she won't give up that easily. With no other choice, Cry decides to go after them and stop them before they reach the White Wolf's Denver. He gathers most of his strong relics and gets ready to leave, but Eva stops him. She asks what he's doing. Cry tries to lie and says he's just going for a little walk, but she doesn't believe him. Eva finds Cry's actions cute because, no matter what he says, he's still worried about Tino. After saying goodbye to Eva, Cry uses his relic and takes off into the air. Eva wonders if he will be okay, especially since the relic he used to fly came from the human missile incident. It has no safety features, no brakes, and can't hover or steer. It's just plain defective. At the same time, Tino and her team are shocked to see a monster wielding a sword and wearing armor, and they struggle to defeat it. If you've come this far, please consider liking and subscribing for more videos like this. Thank